Hello, friends, and welcome to our class, our yoga class. Our theme for our class is mindfulness for mental health. Ah, mindfulness for mental health. So I'd like you to be actively present as we move from one pose to the next. And sometimes that could be hard when we are starting to deepen into the pose. So being actively present, you can think about your breath. You could be thinking about or watching the physical sensations moving through your body. So watching our breath, physical sensations, thinking about your mind and what is happening with your mind, and now also your emotions. So 4 things that we will talk about. So for the first pose, so mindfulness, taking our right foot into our groin, taking the left foot in front. So we can turn to our breath at first when we're sitting in this pose. You can also sit on a chair, finding what's going to, of course, work for you to feel that support. Place one hand onto your chest, one hand onto your abdomen. And maybe the first time that you've sat all day. So let's enjoy this stillness together. Now we inhale and exhale. And at first your exhale may be through the mouth instead of the nose. So the exhale, just release adrenaline. So we can do that together here. We inhale and exhale through the mouth. Your body softens. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. And now we exhale through the mouth. You may begin inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And again, we watch our breath. Notice if you are breathing into your chest, your abdomen, into the sides of the body, opening up. Are you able to breathe into your back at the same time too? This Ujjayi breath, we can hear it. It is not as strong as a Ujjayi breath in Yang poses. Opening up our eyes. Take your right hand and left hand down to the ground. Taking your legs forward with our knees bent. Take your feet wider than the hips. Windshield wiper, knees side to side. Now into the other side, we take our left foot in towards the groin, right foot in front. So into the other side, and here we were watching our breath for the first part. Now we're going to watch the physical sensations moving through our body. So I'd like you to sit up, attach a string to the top of your head, the crown of your head. Now placing one hand, opposite hand could be, onto your chest, your other hand onto your abdomen. We close our eyes and here noticing physical sensations. You may notice a softness into different areas of the body. Or the opposite, you could be noticing a tightness. And this side could feel differently than the other side if it is your non-dominant side. Now joining your breath with your physical sensations, inhaling and breathing into different areas to open up through our body. Exhaling, we let go and soften. Open up our eyes. We release our hands down to the ground behind us, taking our knees forward, just like before. Windshield wiper knees side to side, so feet wider than the hips. And now we release. Into our next pose, which will be dangling. You can turn towards the front. Now making our way up, and come to all fours here first. And then into dangling, we stand on our feet. Let the upper body hang down. Now, the feet, they can be wider than the hips. Your head hangs and we release. You can hold into opposite elbows or just hands down to the ground. My knees are bent enough so that I can get my hands down lower to the ground, taking pressure off of my lower back by doing so. Also, that's a really good point here. So if you notice your back is a little bit tight right now, bend the knees. Now you can do a little sway, side to side. And then coming back towards the center, and we hang, let ourselves dangle. Are we able to let go of our head and just let it release? Now coming into our third part of mindfulness, we notice, we watch our emotions. Our emotions are always on a continuum. Just noticing emotions. Let your head hang a little bit more. Let your shoulders release. And we breathe. You may notice physical sensations into the back of your legs, into your back. Noticing how you're feeling, your emotions. How is your breath when you were hanging, when you were dangling? Coming out of dangling, you may sit in a chair for this next pose. So at first, let's make our way down to all fours here. And we come back. The next pose will sit into a squat, Malasana. So again, you can sit in a chair, or you can also sit on a cushion, or you can sit on a block. So I could use one of my blocks and I'll put it at the highest level or the middle level, and I will sit down on it like this. So with my knees turned out, so this is a nice support if you do use a cushion or a block. I'll let my knees turn open, so the same as on a chair, and then my head hangs in between, and let myself hang here. And remember, with or without a block or a cushion, you may want to come a little bit lower if you're sitting on a block. Continue to let your head hang. Now here we're watching our mind. So breath, our physical sensations, emotions, and noticing, watching your mind. And moving out of our squat, slowly lifting your head and making your way back to all fours. And hold here for a moment. Now, you may focus on one of the different parts of mindfulness. So it could be your breath, uncurl the toes. It could be the physical sensations running through your body. It could be your emotions or watching your mind. In child's pose here, my knees are straight ahead. You could also turn your knees out to the side. We will do that for the next pose. So in child's pose, your arms may be forward or they could be by the side of your body. So this is Balasana. Whichever way you would like to do child's pose, finding stillness. Could be watching your mind here, with having your forehead grounded. So letting your forehead rest to help you ground. And breathe. Excuse me. Coming out of child's pose, back to all fours. Now we'll add on to this child's pose, and just a little change here. It's going to be with a twist. We turn our knees out to the edges of our mat, uncurl the toes, sit back into the heels. Okay, you can come back up again. We're going to sweep our right arm through to the left side. And I'm going to take my left hand behind my back. So if you wanted to look, you can. And I could turn my head too towards the left side. Take my left arm behind. This may be a nice pose to watch physical sensations. So we let our pelvis sink a little bit deeper into the heels with our breath. Now coming out of this twist, just lifting your head and take your left hand back, coming out of the twist, take your right arm from underneath. You may come back to all fours here first. You may sit down into the heels again, and now threading the needle on the other side, left arm goes through. Now you can turn your head to follow your arm. You may take your right arm and bring it behind your back. You may notice your physical sensations again. Watch. Our exhale breath helps the pelvis to sink a little bit deeper into the heels. Now making your way out of the twist. Release your arm from your back and take it forward. Turn your head. And now back to all fours, back to your toes. And a little wiggle through the lower part of your body. We wag our tail. Hold center and then sit back into the heels. And come back again. Our next pose is half frog. So coming down to the forearms, come onto the front of your body. And we'll do a version of half frog here. I'd like you to lift your right leg up towards your shoulder and let the forehead rest onto the backs of your arms or your hands. You can turn your head so that your cheek is resting too onto your hands. And this is a nice pose for watching our breath. Letting the front of our pelvis, inner thigh, sink a little bit deeper into the ground, into the earth. The exhale breath. Now moving into the other side for half frog. Turning your head if your head was resting. Your cheek, and then slide your right leg down and take your left leg up. And into the other side, opening through the front of your pelvis. Again, letting your forehead or letting your cheek rest onto the backs of the hands. You may be noticing your mind, your thoughts. We do have lots of thoughts, depending on the time of the day too, of course. So we may become calmer by watching the mind. Actively present still. We can simply listen. Do you feel your pelvis sinking a little bit deeper into the earth? Release. Coming out of half frog, turning your head, and our next pose is Sphinx pose. We make our way up to our forearms. Now here is really important that you're drawing your navel towards the spine. Think of ice cubes underneath of your navel, and you want to be lifting away. Tops of the feet down to the floor. Pubic bone is down. Now drawing the shoulders up and then sliding your shoulder blades down away from the ears. You may do a little tip of the chin at first, towards the chest. You may drop your head a little bit more. Thinking of elongating through the spine. This pose, it may be a little bit uncomfortable. We're noticing those physical sensations moving through our body, thinking of the supports we have, navel towards our breath to help us. Our shoulders soften, so exhale, let them soften. We may let the head hang. Coming up, Sphinx pose. We'll make your way back to all fours, and then you can come back into child's pose, and you can hold for a moment. However you would like to do for child's pose, you can sit back into the heels at first and arms forward, or the arms coming by the side of the body. Let your forehead rest. Then making your way back up. So it's a nice little transition there. Okay, for the next pose is seated swan. This pose we can do on a chair. So if you want to sit on a chair, please do so. Or you're sitting up. You can also do this one lying on your back too. And it's nice to do that. It's just a little change here. So we'll extend our left leg straight. Take your hands behind. Cross your right ankle over top of the knee, and then pull back. Remember, you can do this lying down. Notice if your shoulders are lifting up to your ears. If you've dropped them, continue to lift up. Close your eyes. Just breathing here. How is the opening through our hip? Are you thinking? How do you feel? So coming out, excuse me, of our pose and into the other side, we cross, and again, we hold, and we'll hold here for a moment. And coming out of seated swan, take your legs forward and give them a little shake, shake, shake. If you're lying on your back, you can extend your legs up into the air. Our next pose, it is seated and it's stirrup, or sorry, not stirrup. We'll do, before we come down into stirrup, we're gonna come into shoelace. But you can do shoelace on your back too, because sometimes that's really nice to do. So I'm going to show you a couple different versions when we're seated here first. We extend your left leg in front, cross your right ankle over top of the left knee, and we sit up. I'm going to place a pillow underneath of my knee here. So you can do it this way, or with shoelace, crossing our right knee over top of the left knee. And you may hold. You may also add your arms. So we're going to take the right arm underneath the left arm and a little twist here. We draw our arms up and then pull down. Okay, so a couple different ways to do it that way. You could also, like I said before, we can lie on your back. And this one is crossing the right leg over top of the left leg. You can hold right here, or picking both feet up off the floor. Hold on to the ankles, your knees. Yes, I would like to know what everyone is doing. But whatever you're doing, we are working through our breath, physical sensations, emotions, being watchful of our mind. We're watching, noticing, listening. Where are you feeling this pose physically? Is it into your lower back, outside of the right hip? We are targeting these areas. And coming out of shoelace, uncross, and to the other side. So remember, whichever way you would like to do this, you can lift your left knee up and over top of the right leg here. You can hold here and just cross, or bending both of the knees, or lying on your back. You may also add the arms. If you do add the arms, it would be the left arm swinging underneath the right arm and then wrapping, and we drop and then we pull down. Coming out of shoelace and twist. You may take your hands behind if you're upright, and then feet wider than the hips and windshield wiper, knees side to side. Now you can do the same thing when you're on your back. Now everyone will be lying on the side of the body and then turning to lie on our back. And now we make our way into stirrup or happy baby. So with happy baby, we take the knees into the chest, right knee, left knee, and then turn your knees out to the armpits. You may hold on to the knee pits, so underneath the knees, and let the legs dangle. You may hold on to opposite ankles, and take your knees wide for the outside edges of the feet. A little shift side to side, rolling side to side. Nice massage into the spine. And now to stillness. We hold center. Let your knees go. And slowly coming out of stirrup, Taking the knees back to the center, to cradle, hold. One more pose before Savasana, Shavasana. Take your right foot, left foot down towards the ground. Now it is shoulder bridge. It is the supported bridge. So you can have a pillow or a block underneath of your pelvis. So having those props just beside you, if you need to turn over and reach for one, please do. So you can put that block underneath of your sacrum or pillow. I'll use the middle height for my block. Now opening up through our chest, opening up through the abdomen, pelvis. I keep looking up towards the sky and close my eyes. And I place my arms down by the side of the body. If you need to readjust at any point, please do so. And then you can come back into stillness. Let your pelvis soften. You're supported. It's okay to let go here. As we make our way out of supported bridge, keep your head looking up. So eyes looking up towards the sky, and then you can remove your props. And then draw your pelvis down to the ground. And you can take the right knee, left knee in towards the chest and hold for cradle. And doing whatever other movement that you would like to do or pose you would like to do before Shavasana. When you're ready, you can make your way into Shavasana. If you have a blanket you would like to put over top of the body, or whatever else that you would like to use, could be jacket, of course. Excuse me. You can be upright, come to seated pose, lie on the side of the body. We close our eyes in Shavasana. We are present. We let ourselves drift. Letting our thoughts pass one by one. Feel warm. I will call you back when it is time. Slowly coming back. Present, listening. We breathe. Feel the physical sensations of our body. Notice our emotions. If you are lying down on the ground, you can make your way up to a comfortable seated pose for yourself. So you can roll over to your right side to feel, and then make your way up. Placing your hands to your heart center. Thank you very much for joining me and sharing your practice. Namaste.